Hello everyone, welcome to Pulse video series. I'm Rajvardhan and today we are going to deconstruct science and technology for prelims examination. Science and technology has evolved as an important subject, especially post COVID-19. And that's why it is important to understand what is the right approach for the studies related to science and technology. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the syllabus that UPSC has given for science and technology. Then we will also try to understand what else needs to be done, because mere on the basis of syllabus given by UPSC for prelims examination, it would be difficult to cover this particular subject, and hence decoding of the syllabus is also necessary. That is what we are going to do in this particular video, followed by our discussion of the weightage of this particular subject in especially in last 5 years, and then we will also try to understand what kind of PYQs have been asked by UPSC in all these prelims examinations. And then towards the end, we'll try to understand what exactly should be the strategy, what kind of approach one should follow in order to cover this particular subject. So let us start with this video. Firstly, we'll discuss about what exactly needs to be done for science and technology. Unfortunately, what has happened, there is a misconception among students that science and technology means current affairs, but that is not the case. Science and technology is not just current affairs. Current affairs does play an important role in order to studies with respect to science and technology, but it is not just current affairs, right? You'll have to focus upon current affairs, but that current affairs, if it is a palace without pillars of, let's say, conceptual understanding, then that palace won't be able to last for long. And hence, this current affairs, you'll have to supplement with conceptual understanding of various topics that have been mentioned by UPSC in the syllabus and also beyond that, right? And that's why it is not just a current affairs. It includes two important aspects. It includes conceptual clarity of the subject, and apart from conceptual clarity, it is also important to have information of different topics, right? So firstly, you'll have to focus on concepts that are there in this particular subject. For example, you should understand how exactly radars work. You should also understand what exactly is the mechanism for carrying out genetic engineering, because once you understand these things, it would be very easy for you to apply these concepts in various aspects of current affairs, right? So that's why conceptual clarity is the utmost important thing for science and technology. Followed by that, you should also have information base, solid information base for science and technology, because once you have a solid information base, you will be able to build on that information base through current affairs. And that's why, apart from current affairs, what else you should do? You should be aware of the concepts, then secondly, information, and on these two pillars, you will be building your current affairs for science and technology. So that is what is very important for science and technology to do. Also, apart from the, let's say, the aspects related to the syllabus, it is also important to dedicate sufficient amount of time for this particular subject. Generally, science and technology is prepared just before the prelims examination, that too through current affairs magazines. That might not be an approach that would help you now. That was the thing pre-COVID, but these days it's not sufficient, and that's why you'll have to dedicate sufficient amount of time for this particular subject, because return on investment that you will be making of time would be very high in science and technology compared to other subjects. And that's why make sure you give some amount of time for this particular subject apart from current affairs to make understanding, to have an understanding with respect to concept and to build a solid base of information. You'll have to dedicate some extra time for this particular subject, right? So these two are the important aspects. So firstly, let us summarize these things. What you have to do, firstly, conceptual clarity you'll have to build. Secondly, you'll have to have solid information base, and then it is about current affairs, right? So that is first thing. And secondly, we can say that sufficient time should be allocated. Sufficient time should be allocated for science and technology, because return on investment is relatively good in science and technology, right? So these two things you will have to do in order to prepare this particular subject of science and technology in a good manner. Now, next. Now, in this video, we will be firstly trying to understand the syllabus given by UPSC, and also we will be decoding the syllabus, because in the syllabus, UPSC only mentions about general science for prelims examination. And that's why we'll have to go beyond the syllabus as well, and that will do under the decoding part. Then we'll go through PYQ trends, which are the topics on which questions have been asked by UPSC, especially in last 5 years. And also we will try to understand what kind of questions have been asked by UPSC. Then we will the third aspect that we will discuss in this video would be with respect to Pulse books and the videos that we are coming up with and how to use it. And lastly, it would be about the Ignite book, which will be about the practicing of MCQs. So these four pillars we are going to discuss. Let us start firstly about the syllabus. So what UPSC has mentioned in the syllabus? UPSC has mentioned only about general science, right? And you must be aware general science includes 3 subjects. It is physics, chemistry, and biology. Physics, chemistry, and biology. Right? So these are the 3 topics that can be incorporated under general science. But if you go through PYQs, you will find that most of the questions are not related to physics, chemistry, or biology. That means they are not related to general science. And hence, it is important to decode the syllabus as well. So let us try to decode the syllabus. And in order to decode the syllabus, it is important to understand PYQs, or it is important to analyze PYQs. So when you analyze PYQs, you will find that questions are not only from general science, which is mentioned by UPSC in the syllabus. Then from where questions are coming? Questions are coming from those topics that are mentioned by UPSC in mains syllabus as well, right? UPSC has given main syllabus for General Studies Paper 3, and under General Studies Paper 3, there is a topic of science and technology. And under that topic, UPSC has listed number of technologies on which questions would be asked in mains. But UPSC also asks questions on those technologies in prelims examination. And that's why when we talk about science and technology, firstly, you should be aware of general science. You should be aware of general science. That means you should be aware of physics, chemistry, and biology. Physics, chemistry, and biology. Right? For which you can go through NCRTs. NCRTs are a good source of general science, physics, chemistry, and biology. And apart from physics, chemistry, and biology, apart from general science, for science and technology, it is also important to prepare for different technologies. What kind of technologies you will have to prepare for? Firstly, you should be aware of space technology and related developments. Space technology and related developments. That means firstly, you should be aware of different orbits, different launch vehicles that we have in India with ISRO. Then there are a number of missions that are being launched, especially by ISRO and also by some other space agencies. You should be aware of those missions as well. And here, when you prepare for missions, you can focus on the recent missions, right? So space technology, and we can also include astronomy, because in the recent past, there is a focus on astronomy based questions. For example, in 2024, UPSC asked a question on giant stars and dwarf stars, right? So that question we can put under astronomy. So astronomy has also become an important topic to focus upon. So that is one. Secondly, defense technology, you'll have to prepare. Defense technology, right? For example, this year UPSC asked about which of the following are fifth generation fighter aircrafts that we have in India, right? So that question you can put under defense technology. Then in 2022, UPSC asked a question on, it was a current affairs based question, and the question was on fractional orbital bombardment system. So that was tested by China, and that's why UPSC asked a question on it. So if you are aware of, let's say, hypersonic glide vehicles, you could have solved that particular question. So hypersonic glide vehicles we discuss as a conceptual aspect of defense technology, right? Similarly, in 2023, there were questions on ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. So that clearly shows that UPSC is asking questions which are beyond current affairs, right? So ballistic and cruise missiles you won't be able to put under current affairs, right? Same is the case with fifth generation fighters. Fifth generation fighters, it's very difficult to put under current affairs, because though some fifth generation fighters are in news, but more important aspects of the generations of fighter aircrafts we discuss under the traditional part of defense technology, right? So that is defense. Then nuclear technology is also an important technology that you will have to prepare. Nuclear technology, right? And here your focus should be on fissile materials, fertile materials, the Indian nuclear program given by Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, different types of reactors, and then current developments like small modular reactors and other aspects related to nuclear technology. So that is what is nuclear technology. After nuclear technology, it is also important to study about health and diseases. Health and diseases is also an important topic where UPSC is asking questions, because especially post COVID-19 and the advent of various zoonotic diseases, UPSC has started asking questions on health and diseases chapter as well. And this is pure information. Health and diseases is pure information, and then apart from information, it is current affairs, right? Next is biotechnology, the most important technology on which UPSC is focusing these days. Biotechnology, very important, right? Because COVID-19, we were able to come out of COVID-19 pandemic because of the development of vaccines, and vaccines is one of the applications of biotechnology. So here under biotechnology, it is means you'll have to focus on every aspect. That means conceptual understanding should be there, how exactly vaccines work, then what are the different types of vaccines, then information part where you will be trying to understand, for example, different types of vaccines developed across the globe in the recent past, and then current affairs related to the vaccine. So that kind of approach you should be able to follow for biotechnology. Similarly, for example, how exactly genetically modified crops are developed, right? Then what are the genetic modified crops that we use in India, and then related current developments you'll have to focus upon, right? So that is what is biotechnology. Next is ICT, information and communication technology. It is also an important technology on which UPSC asks questions almost every year. For example, if we take into account prelims of 2022, almost 4 questions were asked by UPSC from ICT chapter. 4 questions, you can imagine that. So that's why we can say that ICT is relatively more important for prelims examination. Even in 2024's prelims examination, there was one question asked by UPSC on ICT, and that question was metaverse, right? So they gave explanation and you were supposed to identify the technology mentioned in that explanation, and the technology was related to metaverse, right? So ICT is also important. Then we have emerging technologies. Emerging technologies. And under emerging technologies, what are the important aspects? Here, nanotechnology is important. Nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is considered as technology of 21st century. And that's why UPSC has also focused on nanotechnology. For example, they have asked questions related to carbon nanotubes, right? They have asked questions with respect to natural nanoparticles. Are there natural nanoparticles? So those kind of things you will be able to study under nanotechnology. Then even artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an important aspect of emerging technology. And one more you can consider is blockchain. Blockchain technology. Right, so on these topics also UPSC has asked questions. So you should be aware of the concepts related to these things, and then you will be able to understand in more, let's say, clear manner current affairs related to these things. And that's why we can safely say that science and technology is not just current affairs. It is current affairs built on conceptual clarity and a solid information base, right? So these are the different topics that you will have to focus upon for science and technology for prelims examination. So not only general science should be the focus. Apart from general science, technologies should also be prepared for, right? So that is what is decoding of the syllabus. Now let us try to understand how many questions have been asked by UPSC on different topics in last 5 years. So you can see this as we have already discussed for physics, chemistry and biology. Less number of questions have been asked, though it is the only topic that is mentioned in the syllabus. So these are the topics related to general science, and that's why we can say that the topic that is mentioned in the syllabus, on that topic UPSC has asked very less number of questions, right? So in 2021 4 questions were there, but apart from that 1 or 2 questions have been asked, that too on biology by UPSC, right? And hence focus has been on other technologies. For example, you can see this biotechnology. Questions asked in 2021, 4 questions were asked from biotechnology, then 3 questions in 2023 and 3 questions in 2020 as well, right? So that clearly shows that biotechnology is an important technology to focus upon. Similarly, ICT, you can see this 4 questions have been asked in 2022. 4 questions, that means 8 marks. It can be a game changer. 8 marks can be a game changer, right? Then if we consider 2024, 2 questions have been asked from defense technology. So this clearly shows that it is important to focus more and more upon the technologies without sacrificing general science. General science should not be sacrificed, but your focus should be on the technologies. You can clearly see the trend of PYQs from this particular table. In 2020, 10 questions were asked. In 21, 14 questions. In 22, 12. In 23, 9. And then in 2024, 10 questions were asked again. And this trend of questions has slightly increased. This weightage of science and technology has slightly increased post 2020. Because before 2020, 4 or 5 questions were asked by UPSC from science and technology, but that is not the case because we are living in the era of technology, and that's why UPSC has started asking more number of questions from science and technology, especially post COVID-19, right? So that is what is the PYQs. Now, one more aspect that you should understand with respect to PYQs is that, so as we have already discussed, there are some focus areas. Which are the focus areas? First and the most important focus area is biotechnology. And here we can add even health and diseases, biotechnology and health and diseases. So that is the focus area of UPSC. Then we have ICT as the focus area. ICT, information communication technology. And then other technologies are there. For example, defense is there. Then nanotech is there. And even space tech is there. Space technology is there. Right? So these are the focus areas. And then other topics should also be prepared. But when you revise, you can give more focus on these technologies or these topics, right? One more aspect that I would like to highlight here is that when you analyze PYQs, we have discussed that sometimes 10, sometimes 9, sometimes 14 questions have been asked. But there is also a slight overlap of science and technology with ecology questions. And hence, if you consider those ecology questions as a part of science and technology, then the weightage of science and technology increases even further, right? So that is what is another aspect. Also, when we go through previous year questions, what are the types of questions that UPSC has asked? So again, as we have already pointed out, there are some important types of questions that UPSC has asked. So what are those types? Questions are there on let's say three types of questions are there. Firstly, conceptual questions. Conceptual questions are there. Then we also have information based questions, informational questions. And then we have pure current affairs, which can also be put under information, because mostly current affairs questions are related to information and hardly related to conceptual part, right? So these are the types of questions that UPSC has asked from science and technology. So let us take some examples, some PYQs as an example in order to understand what exactly UPSC is focusing upon, because this type of insight of PYQs would help you prepare for the next prelims examination. So what are the previous year questions? Let us try to understand. First is, so this question was asked by UPSC in prelims 2024, and it is this question where they have given some kind of explanation, and based on that explanation you were supposed to identify which is the technology, right? So question was, which one of the following words, phrases is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over virtual items, right? So if you are aware of, let's say, various aspects of metaverse, then you could have solved this particular question very easily, right? You can safely let's say, eliminate some options. For example, this kind of explanation is not related to big data, right? Big data is large volume of data, and big data analytics is analyzing that large volume of data and let's say pulling out some insights from that large volume of data. That is what is big data analytics, and that's why big data analytics is not related to these things that UPSC to this explanation that UPSC has given, and that's why you can safely eliminate it. Similarly, cryptography is again not explained in this particular in this particular explanation, because cryptography is a technique that is used for securing our message over a network like internet. That kind of practice of securing messages over internet is called as cryptography, and that's why it is again not related to the explanation that we have had, right? Then metaverse, if you have studied, you'll be able to make out that okay, this is more related to metaverse, because metaverse will be having a parallel universe wherein we will be able to access various, let's say, services simultaneously, right? For example, the way we go to mall these days, such kind of malls would be there in the virtual universe, and we means our avatars would be able to visit those malls. As we are able to go to those malls, obviously there would be number of users who will also be able to go to those malls, right? So that is what is metaverse, and that is what is hinted in this particular question. And that's why answer of this question is metaverse. Virtual matrix is again a related term, but not related to metaverse, right? So that is what is this question. So this is pure concept. This is pure concept. Only information about metaverse that you get from current affairs might not help you solve this particular question, right? So that is one. Next is consider the following actions. Now this question was asked in prelims 2023. So it is prelims 2023, not 24. So the question is on accelerometer, right? Accelerometer. So if you are aware of the working of accelerometer, if you are aware of the concept of accelerometer, you would be able to solve this question. Accelerometer tries to understand changes in acceleration, and changes in acceleration can be brought about by three things: increasing speed, decreasing speed, or changing direction, right? So if you are aware of this basic concept, you can apply that concept to solve this particular question, right? So it is conceptual, and at the same time it is analytical as well, because the concept that you are aware of, you'll have to apply to solve this particular question, right? So all three statements are correct, because when car crashes, there is a sudden decrease in the speed, and that would be detected by accelerometer, right? Similarly, when there is accidental free fall of laptop, when laptop is falling from tabletop, then there is sudden increase in speed, and that brings acceleration, that would be measured by accelerometer. And then detection of tilt of smartphone. So smartphone, if it tilts, what will happen? There would be again change in direction, that also brings about acceleration, which would also be measured by accelerometer, right? So all three statements were correct statements, and that's why this is a concept based question wherein you'll have to apply the concept. It is not that you are supposed to identify, let's say, what exactly is accelerometer. No, it is about the application, and that's why you can put this question in the conceptual analytical part, right? It is a conceptual analytical question. Next question is again with respect to the visible light communication, VLC communication, and this was asked in prelims 2020, right? Visible light communication is also known as Li-Fi, right? And this understanding of Li-Fi, if you could have solved this question, even if you are not aware of the electromagnetic spectrum wavelength in which this visible light communication works. Even in that case, you would be able to solve question if you have conceptual clarity for this particular technology, because VLC, visible light communication, the statement says that, one of the statements says that it is a long range optical wireless communication. It is not a long range. Wherever that visible light is falling, only in that area we will be able to ensure communication, and that's why it is not a long range. You can safely eliminate 2 and you would be able to find answer, right? So that is how you should be able to approach this particular subject, wherein you have the conceptual understanding of various technologies that are in use, right? Next, so these are some conceptual questions. Now apart from conceptual questions, questions have also been asked on the information part, right? So apart from understanding conceptual, let's say conceptual clarity of the technologies, it is also important to build a solid base of information, and that would again help you solve various questions that UPSC has started asking these days. For example, this question. So this question is with respect to giant stars and dwarf stars. So if you are aware of the let's say life cycle of star, you could have solved this particular question, right? Giant stars, though giant, they use up their nuclear fuel, their nuclear fusion fuel very fast, and that's why they won't be able to survive for long, and that's why they do not live longer, they live for shorter life, right? So that's why first statement was incorrect. Statement 2 was correct, because compared to dwarf star, giant star have greater rate of nuclear reaction, and as a result of that, as they are using up the fuel in a very fast manner, they are not able to live for long. So second statement was correct. So this is a kind of information that is available with respect to various phases of life cycle of star, And that's why we can say that this is a question which is more related to information. Next again, as we have already discussed, fifth generation fighters. So this is not concept. This is not even current affairs, because in current affairs it might be AMCA, that is advanced medium role combat aircraft. AMCA, advanced medium combat aircraft. So this is the upcoming fifth generation fighter aircraft of India. So this is in news, but it might not give you, the current affairs might not give you information about Rafale, MiG-29 and Tejas Mark 1. Right? So current affairs is important because it hints at the topics that you should prepare from the traditional sources. Right? So that use of current affairs you should be able to do in order to identify important topics in the static syllabus. Right? So that is again an important aspect with respect to current affairs. It would give you questions directly, and at the same time it hints at the questions that may be asked by UPSC from static syllabus. Right? So that is what is fifth generation fighter question asked in 2024's prelims examination. And then often UPSC asks questions with respect to terms which are in news. So there were news articles with respect to pumped storage hydropower. Pumped storage hydropower is a technology that we use generally for storing renewable energy. Right? It is difficult to store renewable energy. It is costly to store renewable energy, and that's why in order to reduce the cost and in order to ensure that we can store renewable energy, this pumped storage hydropower technology has been developed. So this is information, because question is not asking you about the concept. Question is asking about to which of the following things it is related to. Right? So that is what is information based questions for which you will have to prepare for. So these are some of the questions that UPSC has asked from various topics related to science and technology, and we can categorize these questions on in information based questions and conceptual questions. Right? So that is what is PYQ trend of science and technology. Now, third aspect that we are going to discuss about is Pulse books. Right? And they have a tagline that evolving with UPSC's changing bit. That means we know that UPSC is changing, right? So they say that there is a popular saying that first U in UPSC is for unpredictable. That means we can safely say that UPSC keeps on evolving, and that's why even aspirants need to evolve. So to help you out, we have developed Pulse handwritten notes. So these Pulse handwritten notes now would be aided with the video lectures as well, so that you will be able to read for the subject as well as understand the concepts through those videos. And based on the holistic understanding from both Pulse handwritten notes and videos, you would be able to have a good conceptual clarity. So what is the idea behind these Pulse handwritten notes? What is the idea behind Pulse handwritten notes and videos? It would help you, both these would help you to have a conceptual understanding of the subject. Right? This is a very important aspect for science and technology. And Pulse handwritten notes and videos which are linked, which are based on Pulse handwritten notes, would help you in that. Right? Because once you have a conceptual clarity, your half battle is won. Now next what? After going through the Pulse handwritten notes, after watching these videos, what next? It is about practice. And for that, there is another source that we are coming up with. Those books are called as Ignite. Ignite books on MCQs, where topic wise questions would be there. Right? So these Ignite books would help you in practice, because practicing is very important. Because once you understand the concepts, once you have information, you should be able to apply those things. And you cannot apply directly in the examination. You'll have to learn to apply. so that you'll be able to apply it accurately. And for that, these Ignite books, which are MCQ books, wherein MCQs are there in topic wise, that would help you apply the things. What you can do, you can read a chapter, you can watch videos with respect to that chapter, and then you can solve the topic wise MCQs. So that would help you build your conceptual clarity in more enhanced manner. That would be very important for your preparation of science and technology subject, right? So that is what is the deconstruction of science and technology video. So apart from this, if you have any doubt, you can reach us at MH Enquiry. MH Enquiry, and this is a Telegram handle. It is a Telegram handle where you can reach for more support on science and technology and other subjects as well, right? So that is about deconstruction of science and technology. Thank you.